Shalom, and welcome to Galilee. Every corner of this ancient biblical land has a story to tell. And so we'll begin our story here adjacent to the modern Israeli Jewish village of Yotfat. However, the modern Israeli chapter is not the beginning of the story of Jewish Yotfat. This hilltop that I'm standing on has a 2,000-year-old Galilean story, narrated both amongst the relics that we find scattered here beneath our feet, but also, and primarily, through the written historical account that takes us deep into the 2,000-year-old world of Yotfat and Galilee. Jotapata in Greek, or Yotfat in Hebrew, has a place in history that will play a pivotal role in the life of Yosef, Joseph, ben Mattathiyahu. We meet him here as a young man in his 20s, an intellectual of the day, well-traveled to Rome and back, a Jewish priest from Jerusalem, who in the year 67 of the 1st century AD, with all the charisma to lead his fighters in battle, but without any prior military experience, Yosef is appointed the northern commander of the great Jewish revolt against Rome. In preparation for war, Yosef fortified 19 positions across the Galilean Golan, including the ancient town of Yotfat on this very hilltop, preparing for rebellion and defiance against the massive and mighty Roman army that was under the command of Vespasian and heading towards Jerusalem. This is the site of the 47-day siege that concludes with the obliteration of Yotfat and the defeated Jews. Today you can still see the Roman siege ramp that brought the battering ram to destroy the fortifications that once stood here. The Romans then entered the exhausted, starving and thirsty town of Yotfat, killing off the Jewish defenders and enslaving the population. The final Roman conquest that concludes the siege is not only the end of the battle for Yotfat, it is the end of the uprising in Galilee. All the other 18 sites that Yosef ben Mattathiyahu has fortified in preparation for revolt and war have fallen. The Sea of Galilee is red with the blood of Magdala. 5,000 men, women and children have jumped, throwing themselves off the hilltops of Gamla in the Golan Heights. And the fall of this last rebel stronghold opens the road just 3 years later, in the year 70, to the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple. At the last hour, when all is lost and the Roman soldiers are in the streets of Yotfat, the remaining Jewish fighting commanders, who are hiding out in an empty water cistern inside the city, take the decision to die as free men rather than live as slaves of Rome. A typical mass suicide pact of brothers and comrades, similar to, and most famously, Masada. However, our chief commander of Galilee, Yosef ben Mattathiyahu, has a different idea. He will be one of the last 2 men standing after his fellow fighters have killed each other one by one, at which point Yosef pulls out of the suicide pact and instead surrenders to the Roman general Vespasian. A surrender that comes with a twist. Now, the Jerusalemite priest and rebel commander-in-chief would declare himself to Vespasian as a prophet. A prophet whose prophecy essentially guarantees Yosef's safe passage to live as a prisoner of Rome. A prophecy that declares Vespasian is destined to become the emperor of Rome. Vespasian, a decorated general with no hereditary credentials to become emperor of Rome, and who prior to the Judean expedition had extremely fallen out of favor with Emperor Nero. Do you think that Vespasian is going to kill him, Yosef ben Mattathiyahu? no longer just another priest of Jerusalem, but now a prophet whose implausible prophecy leads Vespasian all the way to total power. Well, there's no way. Instead, Vespasian takes him as a prisoner of war, and just 1 year later, in the year 68, Emperor Nero is finished. We have the year of the 4 emperors. The 4th to rise and remain is Vespasian. Not forgetting the prophecy of the Jerusalemite that fought him out in Galilee, Vespasian in the fall of 69 AD will summon the prisoner, the rebel, the commander, the priest, the prophet, Yosef ben Mattityahu. Vespasian will eventually extend his family's patronage over the liberated slave when he declares, "You are no longer Yosef ben Mattityahu. You are Flavius, the family of Vespasian. Titus, his son, Josephus." And so, here is born Josephus Flavius. The 1st century, the world of Galilee and Judea, the head-on collision between the different Jewish factions in Jerusalem and beyond against the Roman and Hellenistic world, Josephus Flavius provides an account that further helps us understand the backdrop of the world that Jesus is part of, as recorded in Gospel. For example, we even find the historical context of John the Baptist inside this most definitive and important historical account. These shards of 2,000-year-old pottery are the silent testimony of a 2,000-year-old Galilee, out of which came this most important historical and literary work, unique in its composition. As since when does the loser get to write the history book? Josephus paints the picture of 1st century Judea and Galilee, and is the definitive work that can help us further understand the Gospels and their historical setting in these hills and valleys. Nazareth is on the next hilltop to the south, a 30-minute drive from here, or 5 hours walking. Cana is even closer than that, and Magdala, the shores of the Sea of Galilee, are 20 miles to the east of where we are. The history that we meet here in Yodfat is taking place in the shadow of the events of Gospel and the life of Jesus less than 40 years earlier. For the Jewish people in Israel today, the writings of Josephus are a further historical and recorded history that links an ancient nation to this ancient land, its relics, and a history of our nation through destruction and rebuilding. What greater symbol of a nation rising anew out of 2,000 years of destruction that litters this ancient hilltop than to look across at modern-day Yodfat, an Israeli Jewish community that re-emerged only in the 1960s out of the destruction of 2,000 years ago. Today, within the setting of modern Galilee, we still find the same traditional arts and crafts prevalent 2,000 years ago of ancient Galilee. The best Galilean artists of today, working with only natural materials, are featured in our gift parcel, so that now the Galilee is not just at our fingertips, but at yours too.
הכדרות זה חיפוש, לעשות כד, זה בשביל לעשות אותו נכון, בשביל למזוג טוב, ושיהיה נוח לשימוש, זה תהליך, צריך לחפש את זה. וכל כד יש לו את האישיות שלו, לגמרי. הצבעים האלו של הירוק, שאני מחפשת אותם, של הזיתים והאדמה החומה, זה מה שבאמת אני מחפשת, משהו שהוא מאוד קשור לאדמה, לשורשים, למקום.
Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to Horfesh. Horfesh is a village. It's a mixed village. The majority in Horfesh is Druze. We have Christian, we have Muslim here, and we have a Jewish also. And it's a very nice place that you can see. It's a very pure air. Horfesh is a very big Druze village, and we have two holy places, two holy sites in this village. The Prophet Sabalan and the Maqama Sheikh Mustafa Badr is a very holy places in this village. We have two churches and we have one prayer house, Khilwa, in this village. We have the flag, Druze flag. The green in the flag is nature, to be loyal to the land, to the nature, to the home. Green symbolizes land, to be loyal to the land and to the home. Therefore, the Druzes, since 1948, until now, we are loyal citizens in Israel. We are serving in the army. We have a good relation with the Jewish people. Why? Because we believe in Jethro also. Jethro, the father-in-law of the Prophet Moses. Jethro, which have 7 names in the Bible. Jethro is Nabi Shu'aib. Shu'aib is called in our religion is Jethro. We are the direct descendants of Jethro. The first good relation between Jewish and the Druze is the relation between Jethro and the Moses. We believe that all the people are brothers. Therefore, there is no problem for the Druze people to live and to share the life with any or some religious. We can live together. You can see here in Horfesh the church near the prayer house. We can see the church near the Khilwa. It's about 10 meters between the church and the Christians are praying in the church, the Druze are praying in the Khilwa. There is no problem. We have and peace. We have mutual respect. We respect each other, and we educate our children to respect every man and every woman, and to respect the faith to the other religions. But there is a big difference between respect and belief. I believe in my way. I believe in my religion, my prophet, but I respect your faith and your religion. Therefore, we can live together as brothers in every place around the world.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
Shalom Chisin. Shalom, shalom. We just met Kasim. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about the center here.
יופי ארז, טוב שלפגוש אותך עוד פעם. אני שמחה להכיר אותך למיזם שאני פה מתנדבת. מיזם הוקם במיוחד לדתיות שלנו. אז בוא ניכנס ותראה את העבודות, את הנשים שלנו, איך הן עובדות. בבקשה.
תודה.
הנה, זה המיזם, המקום הכי העתיק שנמצא בכפר. בבקשה.
انتوا اليوم فيش من زمان كنا نتعلم اليوم تعلموش المدرسة.
رجعنا التراث كله على
הנה אחד העבודות הן מסורתיות. זאת עבודה שעשתה סבתא ואימא לפני 30-40 שנה. אני שחזרתי את זה. אני רוצה להעביר את הדברים האלה מדור לדור, שילמדו את המסורת שלנו. ואני באתי להנה להתנדב למיזם שהוא הוקם במיוחד לעבודות מסורתיות על ידי הדתיות מהכפר. נשים דתיות שבהן להן מפגש חברתי ביותר, באים לשחזר את העבר, לספר סיפורים מן העבר, לרקום, לסוג, כל הדברים האלה הן העבודות של הנשים שלנו.
So we are Yar, natural cosmetics. both of us making natural cosmetics from local herbs that we collect here in the Galilee. What I like the most about this work is go outdoors and out in the mountains and harvest the medicinal herbs and work with them, to feel the contact with them, to feel the magic inside them.
בגלל שאנחנו גרים בגליל, אז יש לנו פה חיבור למקום ולצמחים המדהימים שיש פה, ומאוד חשוב לנו שזה יהיה אקולוגי. אנחנו משתמשים בצמחים שגדלים כאן לידינו ואנחנו מלקטים אותם. חשוב לנו, ובשביל זה גם העסק הזה הוקם, שאנשים ישתמשו בדברים טבעיים שעושים טוב לגוף שלהם, לא דברים כימיקליים. וזה מאוד ברור שאוכלים אוכל בריא, אבל זה עדיין לא ברור לכולם שכדאי למרוח על עצמי דברים שהם בריאים והם איכותיים. את כל המוצרים אנחנו רוקחים בעבודת יד, זה לא מפעלים שעושים את זה, חשוב לנו. שהכל יהיה מקומי וטבעי, אנחנו אפילו אוספים מי גשם שאנחנו משתמשים בו לסבונים שלנו, והכל כאן מהגליל, טבעי, בריא, המתנות שהטבע נותן לנו.
זאת מתנה של ניחוח מארץ רחוקה.
Hi and welcome to Ma'arag. Ma'arag is a vocational center in Kfar Vradim, which is situated in the Western Galilee. It's a vocation center for adults with various disabilities. The emphasis here is on the arts. We divide it into different workshops. We have woodwork, we have laser cutting, we have sewing, we have ceramics, which is where I run the ceramic workshop. We have a computer center. Everything we do here, the aim is to produce high-level products that we can sell on the open market. We're very, very proud of the products that we have. One of the special features of the center is that we absorb people from the whole area, the whole of specifically the Western Galilee, including all the towns in the area, the kibbutzim, all the Arab villages, the Muslim villages, the Christian Arab villages, as well as the Druze villages in the area, where everybody comes together to work together to produce the wonderful, wonderful products that you'll see when you come visit us.
So everyone calls me Dini. My real name is Dina Leah Gutman. It comes from the Torah. I live here in the Galil, and I come here to work. I do those works. Beautiful works. Right, and I have a sister here, my boyfriend, and I love coming to the Ma'arag.
The fish is one of the earliest symbols of Christianity. The followers of Jesus on the shores of the Sea of Galilee, fishermen who become disciples, will eventually leave behind these shores and become apostles, spreading the message and its symbols across the ancient world. Our journey in this short film of ours has taken us from up high in the hills of Galilee down to the shores of the Sea of Galilee. It's a journey that begins with views of hills and valleys, with olive groves and vineyards, with sowers of wheat and barley, mustard seed, flocks and shepherds looking for their lost one. Eventually arriving down to the world of the Sea of Galilee, where fishermen cast nets, catching all kinds of fish, only to sort the good from the bad. You can recognize Galilee, its views and surroundings, through the teachings of Jesus, the life of Jesus, and the parables that Jesus taught his followers here on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. Having been chased out of Nazareth up in those hills, the language and imagery of the hill country arrives with Jesus and his teachings down to the shores of the Sea of Galilee at Capernaum, where we find a very different setting, the world of the fishermen. As pilgrims in the Holy Land, you have the opportunity to experience and immerse yourself into the world of gospel, into the everyday lives of ancient communities here in Galilee, like the fishermen destined to become disciples, or one of the crowds and multitudes who will receive the feedings, the teachings, the healings of Jesus firsthand. They could only have understood that message with the Hebrew scripture in one hand and the land of the Bible in the other. An example of this is Matthew chapter 4, quoting a prophecy of Isaiah, highlighting the journey of Jesus through Galilee as light coming out of Nazareth and Capernaum beyond the Jordan and eventually out to the world. This is the culmination of ancient prophecies of Israel. The allotment of the land of Israel to the 12 tribes of Israel is set in the book of Joshua. The Nazareth hills were the lands of Zebulun. Jesus comes down to the shores of Capernaum, the Sea of Galilee, which are the lands of Naphtali. From here, Jesus will go beyond the Jordan to the lands of the Decapolis and the miracle of the swine. Having guided tours throughout Israel for many years, I am privileged to have met so many pilgrims coming from around the world, from different communities, to the land of Israel, sharing with them the land of Israel together with the text, in search of context to the words of gospel. Our pilgrims, having experienced the Holy Land, return home with the fifth gospel, the land of the Bible, forever in their hearts, forever in their spiritual world. Galilee is part of your upbringing. It's the stories you heard all of your life. Galilee is the spiritual home of the followers of Jesus. It's also the home of the artists and artisans. We hope that Secret Galilee Gallery is the bridge between the two. Living amongst the lushness of Galilee, cultivating subtropical crops here on the shores of Capernaum. As a professional guide, specializing in pilgrimage tours, I always aspire to give my visitors in the land of the Bible a chance to peek behind the scenes, to find our hidden nature, art, culture, music, wines and culinary experiences, everything that makes modern Galilee such a vibrant place. But with the sheer abundance of must-see sites packed into all of our itineraries, most tours don't have the opportunity to get too far off the beaten track. However, there is a whole world here in Galilee that is hidden, tucked away amongst the shores and valleys, the same shores and valleys that 2,000 years ago witnessed the ministry of Jesus, and that today still thrive with arts and crafts practiced by local people, utilizing local and natural materials. Whether in villages that speak Hebrew or Arabic, amongst communities Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Druze, Bedouin, Galilee is a vibrant mosaic of peoples. And that diversity is all here in one gift box for all to partake in the blessing that is Galilee. Anyone that has visited here will know that there is a peacefulness, a tranquility, a stillness to Galilee, a unique atmosphere that speaks volumes and is apparent to any visitor to this region. In the wider context of the Middle East, Galilee is a peaceful and blessed region. Today, like every day, Galileans go about their daily lives with a unique normality of coexistence between the different communities and peoples. It is this unique mix of different cultures and traditions living side by side in peace that provides for such an exciting and varied local arts and crafts scene today. Through the Secret Galilee Gallery gift parcel, I'm giving you a glimpse into and access to this wonderful world. In this short film, we have presented just some of the artists and groups that we are supporting and including in our gift parcel. There are many more out there and still to come, so stay tuned to our website, Facebook and social media. Everything is handmade, unique, one of a kind, and with limited production available. From my home, here on the shores of the Sea of Galilee, amongst the relics and excavations of Bethsaida, Capernaum, Gennesaret, and Magdala, the shores that were once center stage of the ministry of Jesus in Galilee, I look forward to personally hosting you on one of my tours. In the meantime, what an incredible and unique gift for yourself or a loved one when we send a piece of Galilee from our home to yours.